You thought Supergirl was bad. You thought Snow White made Disney sad. But what if we told you the biggest blunder is happening this summer, and it's Moana? Sorry, Dwayne Johnson. Falling like a rock, this one is. Ali'i Cravalho, the new replacement for her, not going to have a good time either. And today, we're explaining why this is a box office bomb caused by one Bob Iger. It's a great day. It's a groovy day, folks. Thank you for coming our way, where we as ever endeavor to explain entertainment. Keeping you ahead of the culture curve is what we do, with a passion, with a zeal that even the Holly Weirds can feel. As we dive into the latest news from Moana, none of it good, smash that like button, drop a comment down below, and click it. Stick it to the algorithms. It's that notification bell. Moana, look away, look away. Oh boy, never mind. I was going to be lighthearted, but this is not fun at all. Discussing Film says Moana debuts, and some of you out there think, well, this is Discussing Fish, the parody account. No, this is real. Moana debuts with a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes, one of the lowest scores ever for a Disney live-action remake. Now, this film has tickled the 20s. However, it has been rising a little bit, and I wonder if the House of Mouse will actually refresh this to see where we are as close. Okay, 36 still.
Yeah.
This has risen a little bit. I wonder if Disney put out a call, I don't know this to be true, and said, oh, please, you got to get us off this.
Pro, the guy that was super harsh on one of the films recently, Supergirl, Owen Gleiberman from Variety, he was super kind to this movie today.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
What? Yeah, the polar opposite, saying it was 100% a work of art or some such.
Yeah.
Well, set that to the side for just a moment. I hear you and I agree. Some are trying to save this thing. However, what I would say about this is it's at 36%. It could go lower. It could go higher. We don't know how this is going to play out, right? The access media, they really haven't gotten to see this yet. This is mostly industry-connected insiders, people who have a profession for this. If we look at the overall reviews, though, this is where it gets bad. Grant Watson from Fiction Machine says the problem is that while these elements all pull together to make a reasonable 3-star film, every part that works does so because it cribs literally from a 5-star film. Doug Jamison from the Jam Report says rather than reinterpreting a modern animated masterpiece, it simply recreates it scene for scene, line for line, song for song. We've got Jason Flatt, who is from But Why Though, says Moana feels utterly uncanny in every frame and pales so terribly in comparison to the incredible original. And these keep going. These are really bad. I mean, these are really, really bad reviews. You've got a few that barely eke out, a tomato instead of a splat. But these are quite awful. We'll take a look at this in just a second. But guys, what do you think about the idea that this could be one of the lowest reviewed live action remakes Disney's ever seen?
I think if it's running this close to Snow White, I think that's telling. And I think people may be just over the live action. I think it's more about people are over live action than it is about The Rock looking like Grandma The Rock.
Well, now, you brought up what I was going to say, Culture, and that means we're on the same page. But, sir, this is under Snow White. Snow White, according to the critics, is a better film than this Moana. So the question then becomes, right, if this is worse than Snow White, is this going to be a worse box office bomb than Supergirl? And I think that's on the table.
What it says is that they learned the wrong lesson from Snow White. They did Snow White and they said, well, I guess people don't want us to alter in any way the original animated film. And everything I've read negative about this is it's just a frame for frame repeat of the original and it brings nothing new to the table.
And it's worse. Yeah, it's dull, it's bland, it's colorless.
Well, but I'm just saying, even if it was not worse, if it was just the same, it would be like, well, I've seen this movie already before. And why do I need to see another version of the same thing that doesn't vary anyway or doesn't bring anything new to the table?
Yeah, but Lou, do you think maybe the lack of time separation from the animated to the live action was part of the problem when it comes to that?
Yeah, but still, I still think the fact that they had this amazingly brilliant hit movie called Moana, and all they could do at the parks was, a water
splash pad.
I mean, it just.
This was the number one. Moana, the original, was the number one streaming movie, not on Disney Plus, but anywhere, for year after year after year. And then Bob Iger, as he was getting ready to leave Disney, former CEO, he said, well, let's take this TV show and turn it into a movie. And they did. And they called it Moana 2. And it made $1 billion, but people hated it. No kid out there is singing Moana 2 songs. Nobody can remember the songs. Totally, utterly lackluster. And I think we're seeing now the damage. And I think also the critics are having enough of this as well.
Exactly. It's people are, I think it's the live action cash grab. I think people feel like Disney doesn't want to do anything original or new. They want to remake everything. And so here we go. It's like less than 10 years ago that Moana came out. So why are we coming back to this movie so fast? You know, like Lilo and Stitch actually had about 20 years between the original Lilo and Stitch and the live action remake. So you gave it time to breathe. People can miss it. Okay, I haven't seen a sequel to Lilo and Stitch. Like Moana, I think came out in like 24 at the end of 24, I believe. So you're talking about something that's super close to the last thing that you did, and it's a worse version of the original. Because with all of these live action remakes, none of them have been better. They haven't improved on the original. They haven't done the originals better. So it's like, so what's the point of this? All right. We got Moana at home. We can watch this anytime we want to. Why do I have to spend all of this money to go out and watch Moana? I think this movie's going to flop. I absolutely think that the critics are probably right at this point in time that this doesn't look like a film that a lot of people are going to go and watch. It looks like a bland, boring, drab, dreary remake of an original classic. You came back too fast to it. You didn't give folks a chance to just, miss it in theaters. And yeah, I just don't think this is going to do very well. But I mean, everything on this looked ridiculous, from the CGI to The Rock and his crazy looking wig. It looks bad, man.
Well, let's talk about that. The Rock was facing off with the gayest interviewer ever. No, it sounds like Arnold. So this guy, Mr. Malkin, I think they call him, he is every single time looking for a way to catch actors. I have no idea why the studios allow the variety man to show up and do what he does, but he tries to catch The Rock in controversy here. And The Rock, boy, he looks different, doesn't he? He's a slender man now, Lauren. He's a slender guy wearing his leaves and his Polynesian outfit here, but he's there for the blue carpet, I suppose. And here's the attempt from the Hollywood elites to drive this sucker even lower, and we'll see how The Rock handles it.
Represented in a way that wasn't a caricature, that you said, that is me in there.
No, I don't. Other than, and this is one of the beauties, I think, and one of the blessings of Moana is that live action Moana we can show. Like, hey, this is us. When I was a kid, Indiana Jones inspired me. When I was like 8 years old, watching Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, I'm like, oh, I want to be that guy. But that guy didn't look like me.
Yeah, was there a part of you that said, but I can't be him because?
No, I love that. There was a part of me that said, oh, I want to be that. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was like, I want to be that. And, okay, that was it. That's where it ended.
Right.
But now, I mean, if you think about it, around the world, get little boys and girls who are brown-skinned, even not brown-skinned, Mark. It's like this idea of like, you're young, you want to see beyond the reef. You don't know what's beyond the reef. You have a lot of people telling you, you're good where you're at. It's like, no, not. Like, I want more.
So he does his very best to pivot away from this. Lauren, your thoughts on, I guess that, even as this movie is about to fall apart, you got this guy trying to trap Dwayne Johnson. At least he's smart enough to navigate away.
Yeah, and I think that generally he's been pretty savvy about trying to appeal to a broad audience. He's not somebody that I think is generally divisive in his comments. I thought he handled it very well. I think that this is my personal opinion. And some of you have kind of echoed the same kind of thing. I think it's a mistake for Disney to be doing these live action movies. I don't think that they add anything to the Disney canon. If anything, they just remind you how much you like the animated movies, and hopefully the live action ones aren't tarnishing your memories of the animated movies. I'd like to see Disney go back to focusing on traditional hand-drawn animation. It's unlikely that they will do that. It's too expensive. It takes too much time, and it's becoming kind of a lost art. But that's really where they made their bones. That's where the magic happened. And that's something that Disney is lacking now. This stuff isn't magic.
So let me bring up one final.
The heart and soul of Disney, and what Disney always was those animated classics. And it's like, they're just, I don't know why they don't have any creativity over there at this studio anymore. Why does everything have to be a remake or trying to live off the past or try to recreate something from the old times? It's like Disney has more money than almost any other studio. You could do anything that you want to do. You can just go out there and go hog wild and just create something out of whole cloth and just be amazing or be bad. You have the money to risk it. Why go here? Why do all of these remakes? And Toy Story 5, I'm sure it's great. I just have no interest in watching the same old stories again and again and again and again. It's like, do something new. This is crazy to me, man.
Okay, so let's talk about preserving the IP that you have. Creating the same rough story to preserve the IP for a longer period of time. Now, the argument of doing the Moana live action is one that really needs to be had. What you needed to do is, redo a live action animated film that was beloved, maybe The Rescuers, maybe something else to extend the period of time that you own the story. You own that particular version or slightly changed version of the story.
You want Oliver and Company live action. Is that what you're wanting?
Well, or something similar. But the point being is that's why Disney does this is to extend their copyright control of a given property. And they've been playing this game with Congress for a long time to extend how long Mickey Mouse was got saved from public domain. But it's just a path forward to do that. So if you start doing a live action story, nobody can get close to that one, and so on and so forth. So the goal ultimately is just to preserve these things for as long as they can. And at some point you just run out of the ability to do that. And I think we're going to start seeing that with Batman. I think we're going to start seeing it with Superman. All these other things.
That implies that they have no confidence in themselves as far as adding something to the experience, which I think is true.
Yes.
I mean, this frame for frame repeat of the original says we don't trust us to do something better this time or something bigger this time. And that's pretty sad.
Let me give you guys sort of the wrap-up place here, okay? Let's land this thing. And the landing that I'd like to try and go for the attempt is Toy Story 5. So this film, they're trying to get it to $1 billion. It seemed like a shoe-in for $1 billion. It's not a shoe-in anymore. And I think this is a terrible idea to have Moana come in 2 weeks later. Moana, I think, and Minions will now get the theaters, and Toy Story 5 is going to be pushed to the side. You can't have 3 family films running forever. And there's no doubt Moana is going to take some screens from Toy Story 5. And given what we're seeing, which if I pull this up right now, the latest out of Deadline is that Moana is looking to make $130 million globally. That's a big number, it sounds like, until you get down here and see domestic is in the 60 million plus range. 60 million would be a horrible, terrible launch for the property that was the biggest girl brand on the planet. That would be horrifically bad.
But I'm going to tell you that 60 million might be a stretch for domestic.
Yeah, maybe
because I'm looking at the international numbers and I'm going, well, the international numbers would be a 5-day burn. The domestic will be a 3-day burn, technically a 5-day burn if you count the special event showings, and then of course tomorrow's showings. But I mean, a lot of people are seeing it at fan events if they're D23 or Disney Minus subscribers that got the invitations or whatever. They saw it a couple days ago. So we're gonna have the same thing that we had with Supergirl. Do you think that this beats out Supergirl? Do you think that?
Oh,
this,
yeah, no doubt.
Are you sure? If Supergirl scored higher, are you sure?
We could put a paralyzed slug, a single frame on a screen, and it would beat Supergirl.
Well, I mean, sometimes you have to set a slug on fire. But anyway, the whole point being is that what I'm saying is I don't think there's a market for this film because people are really pretty tight with their entertainment dollars these days. And I think it's going to hurt. I think it's going to hurt a lot of films. And I think people may ignore The Odyssey entirely and not go. Nobody has. We talked about that, previously. But this specific film doesn't look good. It didn't have a visual appeal. And if the word of mouth on it is bad, I think it's going to perform under 60 million domestic.
I agree. I think.
Real quick, Derek, this is the look of a man who knows I'm going to force him to go see it with me. Lord's been sitting there. I've been looking at him thinking, he knows he's going to have to watch it.
Pro, whatever you do, don't throw me in that Highlander briar patch.
Don't throw me in that Moana patch.
We're not going to have time. We're going to be too busy. We have
The Southeast Game Exchange.
We got things to do, Pro.
You are stuck. You do have to watch the Odyssey with me, so have fun with that, buddy.
But who says I have to?
We all have to see that movie.
Be drugged by his fingernails.
For a lot of films. It was a bad summer for Mando and Grogu, bad for Supergirl, bad for Disclosure Day, bad for Mortal Kombat. I mean, Moana, you could just add her to the mix. There's another one out there that I'm forgetting about. But it's been a bad summer.
Animal Farm. Don't forget Animal Farm. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, can't forget that one. It's been a bad summer because they're crowding these movies too close to each other. You know, week after week after week, there's another big title coming out, and half of these movies are flopping badly. And now that you have Spider-Man coming up at the end of the month, a lot of people are just eyeballing Spider-Man. They're saying that's the one I'm going to watch for the month of July, and then that's it. You know, so
you know the winner, Derek.
In that mix. Go ahead.
The winner in all of this is Minions, because Minions opened poorly, but it's going to get extra runway if Moana comes out and is this bad. Like, that's going to give it a little bit, you know, because people are going to say, oh, we'll see that. Let's go see the little yellow guys make fart jokes again.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Masters of the Universe. That was the other one I was forgetting. Masters
of
the Universe.
Yeah. Woo. Better we forget that one. That was a stinker. All right, folks, that's what we might be saying about Moana. Come real soon. We'll have the review. We'll do it live. Stay tuned, and we'll let you know just how bad this one hurts. Lauren, you going too? Parting is such sweet sorrow, ladies and gentlemen. It's only made sweet because there's more content on the way. We never stop. It drives the Holly Weirds mad, but we've got decades left in the can, and we keep going and going and going. Oh, wait. Are we showing our cards? That's right. We'll never stop going near and far and sending out the content you love. Folks, you can help us continue to do just that. Smash that like button. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.